Okay. Over to you, Manan and Nishant now.
Okay. So hello guys, I'm Manan from the Design Club IT Delhi, and this is Nishant. So Design Club IT Delhi is basically a community where we promote design in general. We do graphics, UI UX, 3D, animation, and stuff like that. So and now we have today's speaker, Shubhangi. So she's an NFT artist, uh, and I'm looking forward for her to hear about her journey today in the talk. Over to you, Nisha.
Manan, are we good to go? Can we
yeah,
start?
we're good to go.
Okay, thanks, Manan. So over to Shubhangi. So just to add on to the introduction that Manan mentioned. So Shubhangi is well known across the globe, I would say, for her JAL projects. And she was there in Istanbul last week for exhibition, and she's well known across the globe, and her NFTs are actually there for sell out, and you guys can also check out the NFTs after the talk in case, let's say, if you would want to add that to your collection. Over to you, Shubhangi now.
Thank you, Utkarsh. Thank you, Manan. Thank you, Nishant. So am I audible? Am I clear? Or should I use a mic or something? It's good? Okay, okay. So hi, it's nice to see so many people join in on a Sunday. And if you're comfortable, it would be better if you can put on your camera. I would like to see the reactions and your faces. So yeah, only if you're comfortable. So let's just begin. I have made a slideshow kind of a thing, and I'll just share it. So is my screen visible?
Yeah, Shubhangi.
You all know my name, but still. Hi, this is Shubhangi Raheja, Shubi for short. My name is too long, and people outside India find it really, really hard to pronounce it. So I made it short. Yeah, so you can call me Shubi, and I'm a digital artist, and I've been working independently for a decade now. So I started as a freelancer when the term freelancing was not a common term, and people were pretty scared to hire them. Most of them heard the word only free, and they thought we would take up projects for free, and the concept was pretty unknown. So I kind of felt lack of guidance at that time, and I took all the decisions instinctively. Some decisions were good, while some made me fall flat on the floor. I dusted myself, picked myself up, and continued. With the wisdom I collected from the past 10 years, I would like to share something valuable with you all from every phase of my journey that would help you to be an accomplished artist. You can even use these anecdotes in the NFT space. So,
Shubhangi, sorry to intercept in between. I believe this screen is not correctly shared. It is actually showing a wrong screen and not the presentation as of now.
Yes, we can see folders instead of presentation.
You can't see the presentation?
Only the folders.
So I should better start it again.
Okay, now we can see.
Perfect now.
So let's start. Yeah, so I just made this little scribbles along with the text. So it's better I should start again. So I'll quickly run you through again. So yeah, I told you I'm Shubhangi. Now you can see the screen, Utkarsh.
Yeah.
Give me a...
Yeah. Perfect.
Shubhangi, can you put that in a slideshow format, please? Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's a slide. Okay, I'll just click that.
The right-hand side on the top, just next to the share. Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Thanks for the idea. I'm not that savvy. Okay, so yeah, I'm Shubhangi. You can call me Shubi, and I spoke to you about being a freelancer. So the time when I started, the word was not common at all, and people just heard the word free and not the lancer, and people were pretty scared to hire freelancers. They were approaching agencies, big or small, but they did not trust individual as a person. So I'm coming from that era. I'm pretty old. So yeah, I kind of felt lack of guidance that time. And I took the decisions instinctively. Some of the decisions were good, while some made me fall flat on the ground, just about like this. And then I got up myself and continued, dusted myself and continued. So actually in this mode, Utkarsh, slideshow mode, na, I can't read my own text because that UI of Zoom is coming.
Yeah, no worries. You can minimize it and we can see it in that way.
I'll just zoom this in probably, or
yeah, even this is okay. No worries, Shubhangi. Even this is okay. Yeah.
So I got myself up. So with the wisdom I collected from past 10 years, I would like to share something valuable with you from each and every phase of my journey. That would help you to be an accomplished artist. You can even use these anecdotes in the NFT space. I really wish I had somebody who would tell me all this 10 years back, but yeah. Let us start with my 10th class, where I accidentally scored full marks in my geography pre-board exams. It was a huge deal as marking of these pre-board exams were pretty strict and I was an okayish kid in studies. My teacher suggested the other kids to read from my notes, and my notebook started to pass on from one kid to another and then from one section to another. So basically I scored well and everybody thought that they should read from my notes, and my geography teacher said, okay, these are the idle notes, you can, everybody can read through it. So since the notebook had so many eyeballs on it, I decided to draw doodles on the back and I came up with my first viral art project. Statutory warning, I don't recommend anyone to do this, especially if you're a student. And with all due respect to my teachers, I started making caricatures on the back of notebooks. It wouldn't be just a caricature though, but I would mix up an animal trait with the human features that would result in something really hilarious. I vividly remember my geography teacher with a piggy nose, and this got really rage reviews. I could make people laugh through my art. In my heart, I believed an artist within me was born. So this was actually that I sketched that time. These were the traits of piggy nose, bunny ears, and owl eyes, and on the right side were my teachers. So we would do mix and match, and every subject copy had that teacher behind. And that copy got caught also once, and I had to bear a lot of punishment because of that. Moving ahead, so the takeaway from this phase of my life would be always add a slight zing to the art project. By the word zing, I mean energy, enthusiasm, liveliness, or little hint of craziness. A unique selling point even for NFTs. So I could just find a reference here, this project, if you see from an artist. So basically what I imagine the brief of this project would be draw something, an activity in the quarantine or a kid reading the book. But hats off to the artist who chose this angle. It could have been done very simply with a basic kid reading the book in his hand in the front view. But look at the creativity. He or she tried to make this in a form of a hut, in a form of a closed home. So the whole meaning of the project changed. So if this project would have been NFT, I'm sure it would have, gathered a lot of eyeballs. So yeah, so this was your first takeaway from my 10th standard phase, right? Let's move ahead to the second phase. After my graduation, I started working in a cool digital advertising firm. Digital media was just starting to boom back then, and our agency had most wonderful clients. Sometimes there was a gap between these projects. I got into the habit of making my own personal projects, some of which are paying me off up till now, as they drive a lot of footfall on my portfolio. So I would like to show you one of these projects that I had done. This is called Ramayan in GIFs. So what I did, it was the month of October, and we were in the office, and in India, these Ram Leelas kind of before COVID, they were a rage, and everywhere they were happening with a lot of big pandals and everything, and it was really exciting. So I took them up digitally. So I created 5 of these GIFs, and I took the names from the friends, and these are like the one with Sita's Swayamvar, and the one with the forest exile, the one with where Shubhangi gets her nose cut. So if you know Ramayan, you would know. So this project kind of went viral, and I got really good offers after this. Still, some people want to buy it, have rights for it, and yeah. So this was one that I conceived while I was in the working in office. So again, this project led me to this wonderful project, which is by Flipkart. And an agency who was handling Flipkart that time saw this project, and they contacted me, and they made a full website on the Valentine's Day, and they named it as Valentine's GIFs instead of Valentine Gifts. So you could probably, gift a GIF to someone you love. So this project I got, and then I became a permanent vendor for them. So one project that was Ramayan led me to, a lot of projects with this agencies. So the takeaway from this thing is, how much ever busy you are while in your job or in your client work, please continue to do personal projects. Sometimes in client work, your hands are totally tied and you cannot deviate from the brief, but your personal projects provide you with full creative freedom. They are pretty liberating, and you might use them to learn a new skill. I started my 3D journey by doing a personal project. So this is a very basic project that I picked up in last May. I was suffering from COVID, and I couldn't take up more client works of my, I was generally a 2D artist. So in May, what happened, I did not have the capacity to, grill myself working for clients. I started learning 3D, and this was one of the few projects that I started with. This was a personal project, and this also led to a lot many things. Another thing that I would like to share, that due to personal projects, my portfolio that time became quite strong, and I was surrounded by people in advertising. I started showing my work around and grabbed a few freelancing projects. One led to the other, and I was in a position to leave my job and continue as a full-time freelancer. Even after 10 years, I'm currently working with a few of them. So the takeaway from this thing is, don't forget to build a strong network, as your network is your net worth. So while I was in advertising, I had a great chance to interact with so many people. And even when I left the job, I continued to have a kind of a relation with them, so that, in our field, we need to be a little interactive, so that you never know who would require you at what time, right? So another point which I would like to add here would be, never get too judgmental about your work and chase perfection. Set up a basic benchmark for a quality control, and please don't overthink over review, because I think we are the toughest critique for our own work. To be more clear, I'll share one of my experiences again. So long time back, I had participated in a hike messenger contest, where artists were asked to make cute stickers on Indian concepts. So I came up with these stickers with Ramdev Baba doing hilarious poses. I don't think so the hike people even saw it, but I put up it in my portfolio because I thought they were cute. Cut to some time later, I was approached by BBC Media Action for a series of their comic books for UNICEF. And the national creative head was reviewing my portfolio. So she had this straight face, and on a big computer screen, my portfolio was on, and she was just like, scrolling and giving a not kind of impressed look. And it was the first time somebody so big was, watching my portfolio, and I had not got the expression that I was expecting. But suddenly, when this Ramdev Baba project came on the screen, she bursted out into a big laughter. It's like, ha, ha, ha. Oh my God, what is it? This was something I was looking for, she shouted. And like, my heart just skipped a beat. And I was hired then. I was hired for 10 comic book deal, and I recently finished another series for them. And this is the most cherished project that I did with BBC, because it involved a lot of upliftment for many societies, especially the unprivileged children who don't have television media to guide them or to, entertain them. So these comic books were made very colorful, and these comic books were sent to them, which helped them to develop life skills, and it taught them about body issues and stuff like that. So this is one of the most cherished projects. So I would also show you the hilarious Ramdev Baba, which led me to this. So this was the project. I remember how I made one eye like that. So yeah, so the main motive was to win the height competition, but that did not happen, but this happened. So I was happy. So the takeaway would be to make your own personal projects, right? Keep working on them. So I have a bonus tip for you. As a creative, try to produce work in quantities, and the universe will take care of the quality. I might sound a little psyched, but I do believe in the power of universe. And yeah, so you must have heard people to say the opposite thing, do less work, and the quality should matter. But I've learned myself in these 10 years that you just produce quantity and the universe will take care of quality. And that's how does that happen? Because when you're creating in quantities, automatically your quality will be improving per every art project that you execute. The more work you have, the more will be your reach as an artist, and you will form a style in that process which people are going to associate with you. So yeah, you must have heard these projects on social media. People are posting one artwork daily. Why are they doing so? Because it really helps an artist to get noticed. When every day when you are creating something, people will notice you and you will be associated with a particular kind of style, right? And that is very important. So this was my intro and some learnings, and next would be NFTs in depth. But before we go, I would want everyone to share their things, or if you want to ask about something, just a little interaction before we go to the main NFT part. So would anybody like to share something, ask something? What tools do you, okay, I'll just see the questions from the chat. I'm seeing all the chats now. Okay. So what tools do I use? For my 3D work, I'm using Blender, and I'm loving it totally because it is free of cost, and there are many YouTube resources that you can learn from. Really amazing tools. And then for 2D, I use Illustrator, Photoshop, the basic ones. How would people notice something if it doesn't have a quality? First artwork that you will create will be of bad quality. It might be, but once you are in a habit of creating artwork, then your quality, that's what I believe, would improve. You need to have a benchmark. Like, you can't post something which is really bad. You have to strike a balance, right? You don't have to be a perfectionist. You don't have to be somebody who works literally something which nobody can associate with. But there has to be a balance between these two. And I think then while you'll be creating, your quality would improve surely. What inspired you to create NFTs, and whose course do you watch starting? And I don't think so there's any course on NFT as yet, but there are many artists that I will show you their profiles and their work, whom I really like. So we'll discuss that later part. Should we explore a lot of different styles or stick to a single one and work hard on it? So this was a big question of my life since a decade. So basically, it's really hard to find out your own style. But what happens is, when you're creating artwork with all the love, right? First, you are creating for yourself, okay? but then nobody connects to it. But while you're in the habit of creating more and more artwork, there would be one piece that definitely the world connects with. And you'll also feel happy about it. Like this happened with me in 3D. I was a 2D artist, almost an anonymous 2D artist when I had started. And I was loving it. I was making artwork and illustration, and my work, the client work also was going on well. But people could not connect with my work so much. But once I moved towards 3D, I just noticed that, oh my god, my Insta is just blowing off. I've got, every day I'm getting messages about people, the work is so good and stuff. So that eventually became my style. Now anybody will see cute 3D characters will remember that it's done by Shubhangi. So that's how you evolve your style. It took me 10 years. So you need to have patience, and yeah, just continue to make art. It will connect to people eventually. Blender, good. Blender, how you make sales with your NFT, we'll come to that. Do you use Sketch or any other software for creating free? I use Procreate in iPad to sketch. How much time it took you to learn Blender? Don't you find 3D platform like Blender? No, actually Blender is quite easy. It might be very overwhelming in the start, but you've got a lot of tunes to help you out on YouTube. So just once you get ready with the interface, you'll actually like the tools. So I was into sculpting and clay a lot. So I really love the sculpting part of Blender also. It's almost like real clay. So you can even experiment with that. Do you make use of the OpenSea? No, I'm just on foundation right now, but I've heard that OpenSea is a really, really good platform to, start your NFT journey. We'll take the NFT questions later, but if you want to discuss about the art, what are the things due to which your work got noticed? Because these are so many portfolios around nowadays, it is pretty hard to come up and get noticed. That is correct. So I just shared my journey, how I changed into, slightly drifted towards 3D, then I got noticed. But it's not like that. Many brilliant 2D artists like my friends are really, doing great. It's just that be consistent with your work. And one more thing that I would like to share is be shameless in, sharing your work all over the platform. There's a funny story. Somebody asked me, why do you put your work on WhatsApp status also? I don't leave any platform. I would like, even in my house, in my front door, I would put a picture of my artwork, because you should not leave any area where you cannot talk about your work, or because you never know who is noticing you. So in my WhatsApp status, if I put my artwork, there's so many still people who are from the advertising field. You never know who would require somebody. So you have to be absolutely shameless in sharing your work. That's what I've learned. Can you share your portfolio? Yeah, I'm on Behance, and most of my 3D works are now on Instagram. So I'll share it. I'll share the links in some time. Cinema 4D is also very easy to learn. Yeah, I've heard this. In fact, my partner is, very dedicated to Cinema 4D, and he does all renders there. But I think the quality of the renders you can match in both platforms. Blender is cheap, it's free. Cinema 4D is expensive. You need to buy the renders and the octane render and everything. They are pretty expensive. You need to have a monthly pay model for Cinema 4D. Can you share YouTube resources? Yes, I would share if you're interested in Blender. There is this Southern Shorty and Blender Guru, and there are many other tutorials that I would put up in chat. Do you have like places you get inspiration, like like a junkyard? Not a junkyard, but I do take inspirations from very weird stuff. I'm into cooking. So if I am watching MasterChef Australia, I would get inspired by that. I would probably start a personal project with all 3D foods of a specific country, and the color palettes. I take color palette references from a lot of cuisines and fruits and vegetables. So I get my inspirations from really weird places. Sometimes I get inspirations from TV series also. So yeah, how do you decide the composition of scene in your 3D art? So currently for the jars, there is a template. I don't have to think much, and I have put that up in a template. I just need to change the things that's happening inside. But if you want to learn about composition, that is itself a huge topic that I can cover when we are doing probably a 3D discussion. What are the new skills you had to learn when you had to evolve from 2D, 3D artist to NFT artist? I had to keep my networking very strong. I can't emphasize more on this. I had to be really active on all my social medias. I wanted to get discovered, be it on LinkedIn, be it on, I had to join Twitter. And there's one thing I still dread of, which people say is very important to be in NFTs, called Discord. And I'm still absolutely clueless about it, but I think I would need to come up to Discord very soon. So yeah, skills would be like how to interact and how to, be present in the community all the time. I saw your stories. I really loved the idea of taking inspiration from literally anything, from cookery shows. I repeat that, I think, quite often, that take inspirations from any kind of world. It doesn't have to be literally art. In fact, you can take inspiration from what lot of photographers. Those, the composition. Somebody was asking about the 3D composition. So photography gives great references for composition. Can you please tell what makes 3D NFT better? Like, do they need to be very precise on textures and sculpting, or they just be visually appeal? There is no rule in NFTs. First of all, it is such a new field. So anybody who joins NFT has their own journey, right? So one thing which is happening for me would not probably happen with another person. Some projects are sometimes, I see bids of about 2-3 Ethereums on this artwork, which just has a line. So you cannot say that you need more textures on anything. It's just what connects with the audience, and just be true to yourself. What connects with you at the most, right? Then only you'll be able to, genuinely convince people to buy your art. Sketch, Procreate. I use Procreate. Most of the time starting won't have guts to share. No, you need to have guts, Shagun, because we judge, as I told you earlier, we judge ourselves a lot. We don't need to be so harsh on ourselves as creators. First of all, the eye that we look our artwork with is very different from the viewer's eye. So probably, whenever I look my art, I get very, very critical. But if my mom is looking, or somebody who doesn't even know me, they look at my art, they would obviously find it more pleasing than, as compared to us. So never shy away from sharing your stuff. And I told you to share it on any platform that you come across. What devices, specs do you use for Blender? I did not understand the question. Yeah, Utkarsh has put my portfolio links. Somebody has put up a donut here. Hope your donut sells soon. All right. So we can proceed. I've almost finished answering all the questions. More interested to learn about NFTs. Actually, the anecdotes I shared can also be used for NFTs. I've been using them. So it is, and also sometimes I think that I never became an artist to become an NFT artist. That just happened. And you just need to love what you do and things will work out. That's what I think. But still, since the session is about NFT, let's go to that. Just have some water. Yeah. So NFTs in depth. Everybody knows the Google term when you search what are NFTs. I think I'll skip that. But from an artist perspective, we'll thoroughly discuss how to go about it. So the 3 steps: Choose the kind of project you want to do. Choose the best marketplace that suits your project. Mint, list, and chill. So we'll go each and every step one by one. So choose the kind of project you want to do means you have full freedom. Somebody asked me that you should take care of the textures, you should do 2D, you should do 3D. There's nothing like that. I can show you. Bored Ape is the most simplest 2D project, and you know how much money it has earned. So NFTs are basically are of the following types. So one is one-on-one project. What is a one-on-one project? It's where each piece is one of its kind. So basically, probably if you've seen my jar projects, the common theme is jar, but all the artworks will be different from the other one, right? There will be one jar which has a concept of a farm, another will be, entirely different, underwater sea kind of a jar. So these are one-on-one projects, right? So another one is called the PFP project, a profile picture project, a type of NFT that has grown popularity. Most famous projects are PFP projects. They are tiny pieces of artwork that you might see as a Twitter profile photo. Celebrities and influencers are getting attention for this large purchases. The first PFP project was the CryptoPunk project, launched in 2017. So this project started a trend, right? And we'll just look through this project. This is on, they have made their own websites, and this is very simply generated. So basically what happens is they make a basic skull in, probably if it's a Photoshop, it's a 2D project, it would be Photoshop of Illustrator, and then they have these PNGs of probably a hat, of probably a pipe, of probably a smoke cigar or anything, and then they call it on coding. They generate the artworks. So if you see, the numbers of these artworks would be 8,888 or 10,000. They would be huge quantities because they can be generated very quickly on the call of a code, right? So these are, yeah, and I spoke about generative art projects. So that's how you generate the project. But you cannot, obviously, one-on-one cannot be, made like this in bulk. They would be smaller collections. So what are collectibles? Collectibles could also be generative, or they could be, made like one-on-one. So this is a very famous artist. I think most of us would have seen his work. His name is DK, and his project Let's Walk. So the floor price is 2.43 ETH, and he's almost sold 3,700 of them. So you can calculate how much he has earned. So these are just simply walking animations, but this is not generative. He kind of creates every piece and then he uploads here. So this project is performing very well, and DK has also come up with his own metaverse. And then there is photography in NFT world. There are people who are selling their photographs for, quite a lot of ETH. And then there are fashion NFTs. And then everybody has heard about memes who have been selling as NFTs. So the first process would be, you will have to decide yourself that which one you want to go about it. Now the second thing is marketplace. So should we take any questions if you have regarding this about choosing your project?
Shubhangi, maybe we can take the questions toward the later part, because some of the people have expressed a concern that they've joined from US and it is pretty late for them. So they're requesting we can finish the presentation first.
So choose the best marketplace that suits your project. So there are two kinds of marketplaces. One is InviteBase, one is free to join. InviteBase is Foundation, Super Rare, OpenSea, and Rarible are free to join. There are many more. On daily basis, they are taking out new marketplaces, so you can explore them in detail. But I know about Foundation because I'm there, and OpenSea is also very user friendly, right? So yeah, this. And then mint, list, and shell. So what is minting? There are few terms that you will get to hear when you are, coming as an NFT artist. So what is minting? So minting an NFT means converting digital data into crypto collections or digital assets recorded on the blockchain. It simply means to upload your artwork. So the moment I go to Foundation, I have my artwork file. When I upload it, it means I'm minting my artwork. So when you mint your artwork, you need to pay an amount which is called the gas fee. So what is the gas fee? It is a fee you pay to execute any transaction on the blockchains. These fees are used to pay the people who operate the computers that execute the transaction. Gas fees are determined by the current demand on the blockchain. So it keeps on fluctuating. So while you are uploading your first NFT, you can just see your wallet will show that the current gas fee was this, and the minimum it has gone in probably few minutes would be this amount. So when you're doing it, you can actually wait for the gas fees to come lower, and then you can upload your artwork. So the last thing is listing. When you list your NFT, it means you allow for the safe transaction to take place, and then it shows it onto your, suppose if you're doing on Foundation, when you list it, there is another fee that you need to pay, that is the listing fees. Again, you can check, it goes up and down most of the time. And when it is the, when it is less, you probably can use that time. And then it appears on your profile, your artwork would be there. So my NFT journey overview is, I was invited by Amritpal. If you have seen Amritpal's work, I think he was the first one to bring in NFTs here in India, probably. He's the artist with his toy room and toy portrait collection. And in fact, I was following Amritpal even before he was an NFT artist. He used to, make these cute card games of dogs, and his work was actually really good. So he had caught my eye. So once on LinkedIn, he had put up this status that, I am an NFT artist and I want Indians to be on board. He did not write Indians. He just wrote, he wrote, I want other artists to be on board, and please send me your portfolio. And at that time, I had just started on with my 3D works, and I just sent him one day, and I'd forgotten about it. But the next day, he congratulated me. He said he likes my work, and he had sent me an invite on Foundation. And I just saw that invite, and I did not understand any technicality, and I did not know. I did not even think that I will go on board. But then I researched about it, and then I saw that how much his toy, at that time, his one toy face was selling for 2 ETH, something like that. So I got excited, and I thought I should give it a try. So that's how I joined NFT. And since I had the invite for Foundation, I did not explore the option for OpenSea. But in future, I might come out with a collection which would be OpenSea based. I've noticed that one-on-one artworks do sell better on Foundation, and OpenSea is more if you have a collection kind of a thing, or generative art. That's my observation. But as I say, there is no fixed rule in NFT. Every person has a different experience. So I'll just show you some of my projects. Can you see my screen, or can you still see the presentation? Can you see the Foundation? Okay. So this is my Jar Worlds collection. So how did I come up with it? So basically, I had made this artwork really long time back, which was this girl sitting in a jar and reading. And the inspiration behind that was, I also liked reading a lot. And I wanted to have a cozy corner in my home. So what I did was I changed this into 3D and made my first artwork, which was, so generally when we joined Foundation earlier, they did not have collection. Only OpenSea used to have collection. Now they have collection. So when I uploaded this artwork, it was coming in the category of created, not in collection. But now you cannot create. Now you have to have a collection for foundation also. So this artwork I had uploaded in August 2021, and I almost forgot about it. I did not know how to sell it off, and I was not talking about it on my social media. I just made and sold. I just made it and kept it. But in November, I think through one of my social media channels only, I got to know that, you know, somebody is interested in buying an NFT, and they had put up a post, and I had just pasted the link of this, and the next morning I got up, it was sold, and it just blew my mind. I never thought that we can, you know, actually earn. I used to make so many truckloads of illustrations on Instagram just for my own happiness, and, you know, just for the world to cherish. And I don't even know if the world used to cherish or just ignore. But then, you know, actually getting paid for something like this was really, really empowering. So somebody asked me yesterday, what do you recommend people to, you know, just get into NFTs or not? I cannot recommend you, but I what I felt is it is an empowering thing when somebody, you know, and when there's one thing called the bid wars, when two people are fighting for, you know, the auction is happening, one is quoting 0.31 ETH, other is quoting 0.32 ETH. That war, that people are dying to buy your artwork and trying to pay anything for that, that is actually really, that gives you a lot of confidence. That is one thing that I'm here and I'm trying to sustain. So yeah, I'll come to that question. Last thing that I wanted to share, that there's another project that I collaborated with my partner who is into cinema 4D. These are called Rollers, sorry, rolling on the floor laughing. So we came up with these cute characters. We had an inside joke, and I was laughing like this on the bed and rolling here and there. And I like, why don't we make 3D characters laughing like that? So we came up with a big list, and I think out of 7 we have sold 4. I'm not trying to talk. I'm not talking a lot about these projects because currently jars are the priorities, but we are going to, you know, focus on these also, and consistently bring out more and more stuff. And I think the shit was the coolest that we done. Even we got a really good reviews for the prize, the animation for prize. So this is our second NFT project. Yeah, so that's much of it. I'll take the questions now. Would you like to speak your questions to me with your mics on, because that is much easier for me? Or you guys find chat better?
I can ask one.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, so I posted that in the chat as well. The question is that, do you have any insights about what is the buyer's perspective is? Like when people are buying it, where are they coming from? Are they buying something that like help them make their, you know, NFT collection look cool? Or is it something that they think they personally love the idea? Like because, you know, when we think about, like, if I go to market, right, and I see some artwork and I want to purchase it, there are various reasons why I want to purchase that. Maybe it looks good in my home, maybe it is something which is unique and I just want to have it. But when it comes to NFT, it's coming from a very you know, tech savvy people, and it doesn't feel very authentic as of now. And I feel like very few arts are selling which are authentic. People are interested in it. So I'm just a little confused about how to really understand where is buyers coming from, and how we can really, you know, utilize this space to sell the artwork, and also make it more art centered rather than, you know, just a marketplace to you know, just make money. Are you getting my point?
Yeah, your name is Rajat, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Rajat, that is a very relevant question. I'm sorry, I missed it chat, but it is a very important question. So the first thing that a collector would see in your artwork, it should resonate. It should resonate with them, and it could be anything. You don't know your collector is a very big, Star Wars fan. You don't know that, but the only answer to this that is that you have to be true to yourself. You have to be true to your art. Somebody, if your art is genuine, somebody will definitely connect to it, because there is no one ideology of a collector. There are so many collectors and everybody has their own mind. They cannot go for okay, SI art kharidna hai, or this is just one style that I would like to buy. It's nothing like that. But while you are into your NFT space, you will realize what kind of collectors are interested in your work. Then if you have a cluster of collectors, you will know. So I think there are, if I tell about my jars, there are 2-3 words that I think of. It's mystic, it's magic, is the calming effect. So I try to inculcate these 3 things, and I know my collectors are also looking for this. But if you again see Rafflers, the project which has people, which has the characters laughing, it is a funny project. It's just that I do associate with it, and I'm truthful to it, and I have the capacity to shill it. Shilling in NFT world is sell and talk about your work. So I have the capacity to shill it. As long as I can do that, it will definitely get sold out. Either today or tomorrow, it will go. So the only thing is, be truthful to your art. Somebody will connect sooner or later. So I'll just show you this jar of mine, which while I was making jars, I realized this one was sold for 1.5 ETH, and there was a very big bid war for this. People were bidding, and ultimately it went for 1.5 ETH. Why did it go? Because I was told I like moon. This is just me. This girl is me in every jar. I'm truthful to it. I don't know if a very macho man would ever associate with something so feminine, something so gentle, but I don't care. Whoever associate, you cannot please everyone, but you will definitely find your people, your group who associates with your art. And this is the beauty of it. Everybody does not think same. Also, people try, people who are generally more into business would buy PFPs so that they can sell and bring out profits in them. So there are 2 kind of people. One would buy a project for just the sake of art, and one kind of people would buy it for profits and gains. So eventually, when you come up into the community, you will find your own cluster of your own people. I hope I do answer it, Rajat, or is there something?
I think, yeah, that you put it very beautifully. This is the kind of answer I was looking for. Thank you very much.
Okay. So is there something anybody else would like to ask?
Hi, Shubhi. I have a question. So I would like to know if there is a scope for collaboration with brands on this, because I read up that, some people get invited to certain events if they own a few NFTs, or, there are like early bird discounts. So could you talk more about that, and if that is something you keep in mind when you create NFTs?
Harsha, very cute voice first. Secondly, I did not understand the question about brands and NFTs. You mean to say, are brands collaborating with NFT artists to bring out more art, or what is the question?
Yes, yes. So for example, I read this about Nike that they collaborated with artists, and if you own like some of those collectibles, you get early bird discounts, or there are some shoes that you only get to buy if you own these NFTs. So is that something you keep in mind when you create, or like not so far, but is that something you would look for in future, and just to get the scope of it?
So Harsha, there is one project which was very Indian. Ariel did a project with NFT. If you could Google it, you'll find there was a group of Indian artists who collaborated with them. So and Make My Trip is also working on. I'm not following it, but this is the next big thing in brands coming into NFTs. So do keep a check on it and follow it. I'll also follow it. I don't have much to say about it because this is something very new, but I'm sure this is a very promising future, brands entering into NFTs.
Okay, do you think like someone needs a following for that? So far, brands only collaborate with influencers or content creators for that if they already have a huge following. So how can someone like regular person get into it?
That will come eventually. The people who collaborated with Ariel also were already very famous NFT artists, and actually the brand will also see that they also need to be benefit. If they are collaborating with already famous artists, then it's a beneficial thing for both. But hang on, everybody has the potential, everybody has the capacity to become a big artist, and even in NFT, your destiny can be changed overnight. You could be somebody, you could have all your collection sold out one night, you'll become a great artist the other day. So hold on to it, and if you aspire to collaborate with a brand, then nothing can stop you.
Thank you, Shubhangi. I loved your presentation. Your story is, and it's really inspiring, and you have a lot of patience. So, thank you.
My husband about patience. So any other questions? Can we create a community of enthusiasm of NFT Web3? I can be a volunteer. So there are many communities already, and you can be a part of it. And they are on Twitter, they are on LinkedIn. So just dive in. Which marketplace you would suggest for someone who is just entering NFT space? I would suggest if you have an invite, then why not foundation? But if you don't have, don't waste time. Create your project and upload it on OpenSea. You'll get great response on OpenSea as well, because it is very easy for a collector to buy through these two sites.
Hello, ma'am. Ma'am, just want to ask, like you have been using Photoshop and Blender for making your artwork. So, what is at what point you think like your skill in Blender and Adobe Photoshop is enough to make your artwork good? Like, is there any limit, or is there any specific tools you only use to for make your artwork? Because as you know, in Blender there are many there are varied amounts of tools like animation, compositing, sculpting, so we can go anywhere in that direction. But for our own specific design, we need to focus on one thing, right? So how do you implement that thing in your artwork?
So your name is Pranal, if I'm pronouncing it correct.
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah. So Pranal, being an artist and being a good and accomplished artist is a journey. It's not a destination. Even I think when I'm on my deathbed, I would not say that okay, I've achieved. It will always be nahi, ab ye chahiye to ab wo chahiye. ठीक है? It's a constant process, and you should enjoy the journey. And don't get overwhelmed कि ब्लेंडर में इतनी सारी चीजें हैं. I know बहुत सारी चीजें हैं. उनका एक पेंसिल का ही टूल है. कौन सी पेंसिल होती है वो? उनकी वो पेंसिल. हाँ, उसी से ही वो इतना, मतलब मैं भी स्टार्टिंग में आई गॉट सो ओवरवेल्म्ड कि मैं पकड़ूं तो क्या पकड़ूं, बट आई थॉट लेट्स ट्राई फ्रॉम द इजीएस्ट थिंग. एंड ऑल्सो जस्ट सी कि आपको किस तरह का आर्ट बनाना है. इफ यू थिंक कि जैसे I like sculpting these cute characters. So I think box modeling is the best for me. Suppose you are into, anatomy of a human being. So sculpting is the best for you. ठीक है? किसी को बहुत सारी fancy cars बनाना पसंद है, तो उनके लिए again box modeling is the best. तो ऐसे करके यू कैन फाइंड आउट जो आपको बनाना हो ब्लेंडर में, उससे देखो कि आप कौन से प्रोसेस में चलोगे। डोंट गेट ओवरवेल्म्ड कि किससे स्टार्ट करें। एक चीज पकड़ो, मैं अभी भी आई एम स्टिल इन द बॉक्स मॉडलिंग फेज ओनली, इट्स बीन अ ईयर बट आई एम काइंड ऑफ एंजॉयिंग इट। उसी में देन आई विल गो एंड यू नो फाइबर्स, क्लॉथ्स, टेक्सचरिंग, देन आई विल गो टू हेयर। अभी रिसेंटली ब्लेंडर ने हेयर का बहुत इलैबोरेट सा कुछ नया निकाला है, सो आई एम वेरी एक्साइटेड अबाउट इट। तो ऐसे करके स्टेप बाय स्टेप लो, स्टार्टिंग में ही ओवरवेल्म मत हो, एक चीज पकड़ो। सो दैट्स माय एडवाइस।
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, guys, so we have already crossed the mentioned time. Maybe we can take one last question and then disperse for today. And maybe Shubhangi is free sometime later. We can have a session again with her.
So, hey, hi Shubhangi, Aditya here. I have a question. I'm actually a non-designer, but in my line of work, I have to tell to my business so many compelling stories. So what I normally do is I take some, comic characters from online and try to create something out of it to build a compelling visual story or a use case kind of it. And, I present it. So, but in the beginning of the session, you have explained your story in a much more appealing manner, if I have to say. The small lady, girl character, and then you also showed another two characters. One is falling down. Those are really wonderful and so cute, for me at least. So want to understand, because I'm a non-designer, if I have to, are there any tools for me if I have to create those kind of sketch, those, stickman characters? I don't know if the wording is also correct also. If I have to create those kind of characters, where do I go, or where do I start for the learning? Are there any tools for non-designers like me? You just want to understand or get your perspective, because I don't have, sometimes I'll not get the luxury of having a designer for me and then work on it. Sometimes I have, but most of the times, out of 10, 8 times I don't have the luxury. I have to create it myself. I have to do everything. Sometimes within 2 hours I have to do something out of blue. I can do imaginative. I can think through those things, but on the paper, I on the screen, at least I cannot do it. Any suggestions around it? Where do I start if I have to learn? I'm interested to learn also to do that. The basic sketching is also fine. I'm interested to do that.
Okay, great. Good question, Aditya. So there are two things. One, of course, I was about to say, why don't you pick up a pen and a notebook? And then because, even if you search for graphics online, sometimes you just don't get, that falling flat on the ground wali feel jaise main actually mujhe lagta hai giri hongi. So I think I wanted to draw it myself.
Exactly. What we are imagining in in our mind, those characters will not be there. And we have to spend humongous amount of time just to identify that. And after identifying that, that will not be free thing to use. Premium, that too at a much higher cost, which I cannot afford right now. So yeah, I'll pause.
So Aditya, the best thing would be to pick up a pencil and a plain notebook, and it'll be so relaxing and such a stress buster for you if you start doodling yourself. And if you really use the correct term, even not being a designer, the stick figures, just a circle and a line, and probably you could just create wacky around it, and it'll be a very good outlet for you to take out your emotions. Even many people say that journaling helps, so I do my journaling in doodle forms only. So I have this habit of sketching since I'm from this field only, but I would recommend please pick up a pen and a notebook and just give it a try properly, and you can share your sketches with me. I can give you the insight how to go about it, but it would be good, and that would add a very personal touch to your presentations if you're doing it. And I tell you, people do not judge you as an artist when you do it. I just made such bad illustration. If an artist would see, sometimes in my hands, even in this comic, if you see, there would be 6 fingers instead of 5, but nobody sees those technicalities. It's just the emotion that comes across through these doodles that are important. So probably try them out. That would work out well. And there are some sites, this site called Powtoons, there's this Vector Easy, Freepik. This would have those straight cut graphics made in Illustrator. If there's nothing you can do, so you can use them also.
Yeah, I'm actually using Powtoon, and I'm also using a site called Pixton. But yeah, whatever you said, pencil and thing, I'll actually have to practice that. I'll do it. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Shubhangi, heading towards the end of the session. So last question from Chris, and he wants to ask that how can one get their NFT collection whitelisted?
Whitelisted, I did not understand the term whitelisted. Can you explain?
Okay, Chris, maybe if you would like to unmute yourself and ask the question directly.
Basically, how do you shill your collection? Like you mentioned shilling, right? So whitelisting is essentially when the platform itself endorses your collection.
So that has not
And
happened. That has just happened with Amritpal, I think. He was invited to foundation, and the platform was really, I don't think so now, many because there's so many artists, very few people are being promoted by the platform itself, but you are your own promoter. As I said, never leave a chance to talk about your work, never ever leave a chance. And you need to shill, like you need to post about your mints a lot of times. Like, don't feel ashamed of telling people again and again. People will get used to seeing your work, then eventually you will get to your buyers also. Because what is, when you tweet or when you insta post about your mints, what is the duration till what time you can see those posts in somebody else's feed? Probably just 1 hour, it will be the life of your post. Then make sure you are very consistent with posting online, in stories, in every medium that you can find. So that's the only thing you can do. I don't think so there is anything else, just the power of social media. And that is quite insane, actually. That is quite enough also.
from Instagram so far?
Sorry, your voice got cut.
So the most amount of reach you've seen is from Instagram so far? Like where have you
Currently from
reached people?
Instagram, but LinkedIn is also catching up. So that that exhibition that Utkarsh was talking about in Istanbul, somebody from there found me through LinkedIn. So now you cannot say that. I would say that put your hands in all the platforms. Just don't rely. You never know. Like TikTok was banned once, right? If you, somebody who is a big artist in TikTok, and suddenly there is an order that TikTok is gone for good or bad, but then you cannot rely on one social media. So I would suggest, even I'll tell you this platform called Behance. Behance has supported me like anything. Like I have got all my clients work through that. Now it is also compatible with NFTs, right? So don't stick to one platform, because you don't know the future of that platform. So I would suggest that have your feet dipped in all of these social media handles.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, thanks a lot, Shubhangi. Thanks a lot, guys, for asking questions. And maybe you can get connected with Shubhangi on her socials, and let's say if you have any doubt, you can reach out to her. So heading towards the end of the session, maybe if all of you guys would like to turn on your video so that we can have a quick photo and then keep it as a memory for the session. Okay, 3, 2, 1, yeah. Okay, thanks a lot, Shubhangi, again, and see you guys soon in the next upcoming sessions.